Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Weapon Showcase. Today, we're looking at the Splat Roller. It's available at the very beginning of the game, and is the first and most basic of the roller class weapons. When you buy this weapon, your loadout includes the Curling Bomb sub-weapon, which is great for tracking around ink before eventually detonating, and Splat Down Special, which creates a large radius around you, blasting everyone in your path, while also refilling your ink. Overall, the Splat Roller is a very fun weapon to use that focuses less on aiming and encourages players to pay more attention to positioning themselves properly, while at the same time paying attention to what the rest of your team is doing. As a roller, your goal is to control as much surface space as you can, while punching players that are unaware of their surroundings. This can translate to you following them around, running them over if they get too close, or undoing any terrain that they've covered. In addition to running around, you can continuously press the fire button to release short-range blasts, or you can fire while jumping to release a medium-range, narrow blast. While these attacks are quite slow to release, the jump attack does a good job of catching people that are trying to retreat, while the standing attack catches other rollers that are trying to run you over. This needs to be timed perfectly in order for it to work. The main advantages of this weapon, and the main selling points, is that it's a very easy to use weapon, and very fun to master. It encourages cooperation with your teammates. Because of its melee range, you become more naturally familiar with the range of the guns in this game, ensuring that you understand the perfect distance to approach them from, and the safest distance that you can maintain between them before you can call for your teammates. At the same time, this weapon is superb at punishing opponents that are out of positioning, as well as we said earlier, you can follow them around undoing any painting that they've done. If you're in chat with your team, you can coordinate which parts of the map are free for you to take, giving you a further advantage. As well, if you position yourself properly and if you can consistently punish your enemy team's mistakes, you can give your team plenty of momentum in the match. But in my opinion, the biggest advantage to using this weapon is that one-shotting enemies with this weapon is the most satisfying thing in the world. The main drawbacks to this weapon is that it is strictly in melee range, meaning that people can see you coming and gun you down on the spot if you're not quick to react or you're too obvious in your approach to them. As well, the rollers force you to rely on your team to make up for your shortcomings. This, to clarify, is the case with every weapon, but it's far more obvious with the rollers. As well, solo play without your friends can be a bit of a mixed bag. Sometimes, you'll be able to take advantage of your opponent's lack of communications while adapting quickly to your team's ability, but if your team is incredibly disorganized or incredibly careless, you're going to have a bad time. In my opinion, my favorite thing to do is to wait for the enemy team to push on ahead while I steal all of their turf from behind, looking for each and every opportunity to flank unsuspecting enemies and follow opponents around. The main playstyle with this weapon is to take care of the front lines, running over enemies that are out of position, and covering as much ground as you can, while also periodically stopping to refill your ink. Doing this gives as much ground as possible for your team to work with. As you can see from the footage that we have here, I'm constantly running around. I'm looking for each and every opportunity to sneak up on unsuspecting people either from behind or from the sides, whether they're preoccupied with painting things or trying to move around, or if they're busy exchanging bullets with my team. If my team is already at an advantage, I start looking for my chance to further that advantage. I try to look for the opponent's side of the map and covering as much surface as I can before things get dangerous, immediately retreating. Most of my matches, in my experience, would often have a rocky start. Whether that's my inability to start off a match properly is one thing, but the main allure of the roller is that you always should be, making a conscious decision to position yourself properly and punish your opponent's mistakes. The vast majority of my wins with the roller are comebacks, so if you're playing with a roller and you're losing within the first minute of the game, don't worry. 60 seconds is more than enough time to make a comeback in a turf war. What matters most is that you play the game proactively, you play with the rollers proactively. You look for each and every opportunity to do something with your roller. If you're being chased down, start fishing for a proper splat down setup. If your opponents are preoccupied with their team, try sneaking up on them, or if you know that they're going to turn on you eventually, just do whatever you can to steal their turf, build up as many points as you can. Overall, the Splat Roller is a very fun, easy to use weapon, and very fun to master. It's thanks to this weapon that I've been able to grow into the motion controls of this game. It's great for people that are new like me becoming familiar with the game, and it's great for people that are experienced because it helps them improve their awareness of a map. It's great because it also helps you improve with your shooter weapons and vice versa. Remember, A good aware roller can control the flow of a battle, always. Anyways guys, that should do it for today's weapon showcase. Thanks very much for watching, and as usual, I'll see you next time. I'm planning for the next one to be about the Octobrush, so stay tuned.